breaking every limit, yeah. Microchains in motion, scaling to the sky. Transactions lightning fast, no waiting in line. Awesome in the code, smart contracts ignite. Building dreams together, the future's in sight. We're rising higher, breaking every wall. The mirror's the fire, we're answering the call. The network's growing, it's time to take the lead. With every block we're showing, innovation's what we need. The future of the chain. We're breaking every limit, yeah.
Hello everyone, G Markets, Ryan. Welcome back to another exciting time on Linear Community Hour. Today's Community Hour feels very special, right, to me, to Linearans, and once again, super excited to have Ryan, our Chief Product Officer, joining us for the early part of the call. Hello, Ryan. How are you doing?
Hey, how you doing? I'm doing great. Yeah, super excited.
Yeah, super excited. Yeah, guys, shout out to ZTDP for the, image used for the thumbnail today. Thank you so much. And you're going to receive 1,000 XP for that as usual. Yeah, guys, a lot of amazing things to walk through with Ryan, right? But one of the most important things right now, is linear markets. And yeah, linear markets open beta is live. Ryan, how's it been? I know the last 24 hours has been super crazy for you. But if you could just, tell us how it's been so far and how do you feel about like the markets going live finally for everyone?
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's been incredible to see all of the engagement that we've been seeing within the app so far, even despite some of the initial issues that we had scaling up to meet that demand, right? So obviously I wasn't here when we launched the Game of Life, but I'm being told that what we've seen on chain is 10x what we saw when we launched Game of Life, which I know was a very huge opening, right? So we're really excited about what we've seen, both in the depths of the pools. I'll have more numbers on all of this stuff for users next week, but both the uptime that we've seen across all of the pools. Over 5,000 people have been submitted to the leaderboard. And that was just the last I checked, actually. I think we're actually approaching 5,400 now. So probably somewhere around 6,000 by the end of today, if my numbers are. So, thinking about the number of people who we've seen coming in to do daily check-ins over the last 6 months, we're really happy with this conversion so far. It kind of meets our expectations. And I think it serves as a really solid foundation for us to now aggressively pursue mainnet.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Ryan. Personally, super excited, to finally get people to try out linear market, right? And it's been super exciting. So for those that need like a lot more details, right? There's a lot more details in Discord, right? But there's a launch tweet on X, right, which is pinned on linear_io Twitter X page, right? And you could just go to read out all the necessary details as well, and try out linear markets. It's fun, it's exciting, and yeah, give us your feedback as well. Yeah, Ryan. So it's barely 24 hours, right? It's barely 24 hours, and we've seen over 5K, users submitting their trades to the leaderboard, 10x more volume, portal points. People can now earn portal points for their predictions. They are now added quests on the portal where you could earn, portal points for, passing 10 GMIC and 25 GMIC predictions. But like, just to sum this all up, Ryan, like, share your thoughts about like the numbers we've seen and all of this. Yeah.
Yeah, so the idea is obviously that we have this main weekly competition, right? So the weekly competition will always be performance-based. It's always going to be very top-weighted, both in terms of the amount of points that you can get depending on your position on the leaderboard, but also when we move to USDC payments and we start subsidizing tournaments every single week, those prizes will also be kind of top-weighted, right? The reasoning for this is, one from our learnings as a team, throughout the industry and multiple different places, when we've run these types of competitions, we know that that's why these, when you come to play these types of games, you're looking for those huge opportunities, right? You're already playing this game where you have a huge pool skew, right? Where you can potentially double your money, triple your money, etc. But you also want to see what's the weekly engagement. What am I shooting for? Why am I at the top of the leaderboard? Now, points and everything are obviously super important because portal points, as I previously mentioned, will be like the direct translator to mainnet. right? So once we get to mainnet and the app is now using USDC, and you actually, are making predictions with real money, all of that activity will be multiplied depending on how many points you have when we move to that stage. So everything that's happening now, every time you have access to get points, I would encourage you to try to do that. Obviously, you can get points per every prediction. Reminder that this is per round. So if you place a 1 g-m0x prediction 5 times, and then you move up to like a 5 g-m0x prediction on that one round, that's only going to count as one, right? So I'll about this. I saw some reports. But all that being said, the top 1% on the leaderboard at the end of this week will get 1,000 points. Before we launched the app, I think that everybody was under 1,500 points. So just to put in perspective how much is on the line here, basically over half of what was available throughout all of testnet Conway is now available playing with the app in just week 1. And so we're really ramping up how aggressively we're looking to accrue points leading into mainnet and really starting to translate all of that into your activity in the app. So make your predictions, claim your g-m0x every day, fight for that leaderboard, check out all the new quests that are coming out. We'll continue to be updating quests every week, pushing you into different aspects of the app. Maybe it's a quest where you need to place a prediction on all 3 time frames for one market. Maybe it's the trifecta of place a prediction on the same time frame in all 3 markets, right? There's a bunch of really exciting things we can do to give you something new and fresh to do every day while you fight out on the leaderboard every single week.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ryan. And just to add to what Ryan said, right, one of the key things, in case you missed it, is, your portal points are kind of very important, right? And one of the best ways to earn your portal points is by playing on linear markets, right? And based on what Ryan is saying, there's so much upside to how much portal points you can actually get, right? So if I were you, the earlier, the better. I would key into linear markets and try to, get those portal points. So
I don't know if you saw this. So even if you're in the bottom half of the leaderboard, aka let's say you come in and you basically blow up right away, you'll still get 50 points for the week, right? So there is zero downside to claiming your free g-m0x, going in and placing your predictions, and we've already obviously seen over 5,000 of you do so, which is really, really incredible.
Yeah, and I mean it's still on testnet, right? So you're not gonna lose your real money, right? So going forward, Ryan. So some of the like early known questions and things that we've seen come through right in Discord. So this is sort of like an opportunity to provide more context into some of them, and I believe a lot of these have been resolved. But just to quickly go through them, Ryan, just in a second. There's so people that have experienced delay when joining the app, when delay with regards to claiming their chain, little delay with taking a position, right? And then no prediction history and chat not displaying after successful login. So
yeah, 2 of those. So the delay with the signing in. So basically what happens here is if you're not prompted because of whatever latency issue, whether it's on our side or whether it's on your side, if you don't sign that transaction pop-up window from Dynamic, refresh your screen, will error you out, right? We'll say, hey, you need to sign the transaction. If you disconnect your wallet and then re-sign and wait for the signature, you'll be fine. We have been working hard on getting the latency time for all of the different stages of the app, no matter where you are, to make sure that we don't see that delay anymore. It has been coming down from at least my new wallet creations and things like that. So we'll continue to monitor it. Now, in terms of delay when taking a position, all of these times where there's any type of a delay for a signature on the transaction, we use Dynamic, obviously, for all of our wallet abstraction. So it could be on their side, it could be on our side, it could be on the user side. So we're constantly dissecting all 3 areas where there could be any level of latency. When we're working super smooth, and at least from my firsthand experience using the app, we can get you to like full sub-second finality, right? Where you place your prediction, it'll be in your actives right away. When the prediction rolls over, it'll move right into live predictions. And then once that market ends, you'll be paid out within a second. I have seen us work, consistently, at least for kind of like an hour or 2 before we encountered some scaling problems over the last 24 hours. But as we get more stable, we should be able to see that experience be consistent throughout. And remember, our goal here is to polish this app and get it really, really, really low latent, right? So that there are very few bugs, and then bring it to mainnet and real money, right? So as soon as we can solidify all of the g-m0x, that's a good enough audit for bringing it to USDC, for example.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ryan. Ryan.
One last thing, yes. So I mentioned the
Okay.
Discord, and some people might be seeing some of their trade history missing. The trade history missing, particularly for one specific market, would be due to us resetting that market. So long story short, when we reset the market, it might clear the history from its previous generation. We have a ticket to regenerate all of that information and push it back to the front end. So hopefully sometime by the end of the week, all of your past trade history, if it's missing, will be uploaded. I'll make an upload into Discord about that too.
Yeah. Okay. So in a nutshell, for those that are not seeing their history, it's not lost, right? And they could still be able to get to see those history back and all of that. Yeah. Thank you so much, Ryan, for providing a lot more context.
That's one of the beauties of running a fully on-chain app, right? Even in the testnet stage.
Yeah.
Right. You can always go back and see everything on chain and reconcile any other issues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, Linera also has like a perfect infrastructure for for all of that. So amazing. Thank you, Ryan. One more thing I'd like to add as well is, some people might actually be experiencing, and Ryan, you could always add to this, right? Your thoughts. Some people might actually be experiencing sort of like browser-related issues, right? So like Ryan said, it could be from Dynamic or maybe from, Linera, or possibly like a browser issue. So we'd always advise, right, if you're facing some issues, right, just to check all ends from your, or check all things from your end. You could just clear your browser cache and just close your windows and try to restart. That has helped like a couple of people. And another thing to note as well is to ensure that you're using the same login method for like the portal and Linera Market, right? Because that then enables you to sort of claim your points successfully without having any issues. Yeah. So yeah, a key reminder, guys, and I'll just go through this and let Ryan add to this and provide more context, right? So engaging with the app, like we mentioned, to keep earning portal points. Portal points would then act as multipliers, towards mainnet and all of that. The top performers earn up to 1,000 points this week, and then USDC prizes for the top performers would go live very soon. So I'll just let Ryan provide more context, maybe even dates with regards to USDC prizes if that's confirmed and all of that.
Right. So the objective is basically all of the points that you've been accruing, throughout using Linera, throughout using Linera markets, will roll up into a multiplier on all of your mainnet activity, right? So this is a very normal, way of transitioning points programs from non-monetary spend to monetary spend, because obviously we want to make sure that the people who are using the app and spending and engaging and providing liquidity and all of those things are the ones who get the most rewarded later on down the road, especially when we start talking about a TGE, right? So that's obviously the most exciting thing for a lot of people who use the app. One, sure, they might love, these ultra fast prediction markets. I'm sure we'll find a bunch of target market participants from there, but a lot of the people who've been using Linera for a long time obviously are looking for this protocol to generate something meaningful, right? And if it's super meaningful, that should lead to reward all the participants who've been using the protocol, right? So everything that we do is leading towards this much higher vision. Right now, obviously, portal points will just be accrued through quests using the testnet app, etc. And I'll provide a bunch more information on all of this in the upcoming white paper, which I did flirt with in my original announcement. I didn't see a bunch of people chatting about that just yet. So maybe we'll see if people start to notice me talking about that.
Yeah. One more thing as well, Ryan, I'd like for you to just, provide more context to is like the streak leaderboard, right? So I've seen a couple of questions, how about that? What's happening with that and all of that? So yeah, if you could just provide more details regarding the streak, the winning streak leaderboard.
Yeah, so the original idea for the winning streaks was so that there would be like a bilateral leaderboard, not just based on performance, but also based on engagement, right? So maybe you're only engaging with one GMIC at a time, but if you get 10, predictions right in a row, maybe that's still meaningful behavior to us, right? And we would want something to chase. Now, when we were starting to build out this concept as a leaderboard, we realized that it's more of a deeper feature than maybe we gave it credit for. So as you play right now, and you can see the chart and you see the up, down arrows and everything, you can feel that we're building towards this gameplay of a streak, but it's a much bigger feature and I really want it to shine. So that being said, for the time being, there won't be a streak leaderboard just yet, but streak have been turned into a much bigger idea for a feature that I'm excited to share a lot more on coming up.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Ryan. Yeah, so just a few testimonials, right? Because, you know, a lot of people like myself, you know, super excited, right, to sort of try out linear markets. And it's kind of like a very different experience, right, from what you get to see right now, as not to the best of my knowledge, right? And you could also, you know, add to this is the fact that I don't think there is anyone out there that has been able to replicate what Linear has done, right? So, you know, yeah, so glad to see people, you know, having an amazing experience on linear markets. Myself, I'm also having an amazing experience on linear markets. And just to say that there's going to be like a bunch of like updates, right, coming to make this more seamless and snappy for everyone. So super excited. And yeah, excited for what's to come with linear markets.
Yeah, exactly. We're definitely we're constantly thinking about like what the competitors are, what are other people building in the space, and how can we make sure that we have this kind of moat, right? And if you look at all the short-term prediction markets, one, it's very, very rare to find 1 minute offerings. And those who are offering 1 minutes are either in a testnet stage with less users than us, or a live product with like a shit meme coin, right? And they haven't really generated any level of traction. Now, the reason for this might be because of whatever host chain they're on. It might be their own infrastructure. It might be their tokenomics. Who knows, right? But our goal is to own the whole stack, right? From front to back. When you place a prediction on Linero, we want to own as much of that overall experience as possible. This is what made Hyperliquid so successful. This is kind of like the direct path to having a full ecosystem-driven tokenomics, right? And if we don't replicate a lot of those strategies right now and make sure that we are building the best possible short-firm prediction market experience, you know, then we won't be able to replicate that success. So we have two, you know, things at our back here. The first is a very strong engineering team who built an entire L1 that is now really moving towards being polished when it comes to prediction markets, right? Everything that has to do with prediction markets, we're trying to horizontally scale that, get to the point where we can, you know, do 1 million transactions per second, right? Now, when you think about what that means for the actual product, right? Obviously, we have an experienced team here, right? I was a professional day trader. I ran, you know, I ran a company called Zrun, which did tens of millions in Web3 revenue over the last 5 years. We have a lot of experience as a team shipping something like this. And now that we've done it ourselves, the goal is to get it as polished as possible, get to mainnet, build the bridge that USDC can be used for predictions, and then to really start to hit our stride then with pay to enter weekly leaderboards, live predictions being made with USDC, leaderboards really pushing towards you know, a very prominent revenue-backed TGE.
Awesome. Some alpha there from Ryan as well. Thank you so much, Ryan. But just before we let you go, right, Ryan, you know, some people might be joining and they've seen a couple tweets about linear markets, maybe on the timeline. They've seen, you know, a couple of people talk about it already, right? And they're sort of wondering, you know, just sort of like an overview of what it's about, what we're trying to do here. And, you know, yeah, so Ryan, if you could just help us, you know, give sort of like a brief summary,
Yeah, so right now we're offering very short-term prediction markets, right? So these prediction markets are basically binary up, down on crypto price changes. So right now we have 3 markets, ETH, Bitcoin, and Sol. You go in and you choose your time frame, either 1, 3, or 5 minutes, and then you just choose whether or not you think that the next market is going to close higher or lower. What's different for our product and what you might see from anyone who's trying to offer these short-form markets is if they use a CLOB or an AMM, they will let you make the prediction up until the last, you know, millisecond that the market closes. This creates like a much different, you know, intended experience, right? They're trying to price the odds of that market closing that way. We don't really care about that. We just want to all predict it ourselves, right? Like that's the whole point. So what you can do on Linera is you have that observation and that predicting period, right? Which is usually 1 minute before the market or 3 minutes or 5 minutes, depending on which one you're on. And then once that period expires, we enter into like the resolution period, which is what you see live, right? So up until the flag, you can basically predict. Once the flag passes, if you've checked out the front end, you move into that resolution period. And then think about it as like a race, right? So if you sit there and just go on the 1 minute chart on Bitcoin and just watch the pools resolve, it really does feel like a race, a constant race, higher or lower, right? Think about it. from that perspective. So very simple game. Our objective is now, one, obviously to make it to mainnet, but two, before that, we can list tons of different tokens, right? There's no reason why we only need to have 3 markets. Now, because we're pari-mutuel, that means that every single pool all day long needs to be filled with G-Mike. We're not filling any of these pools. We're hoping that the users can fill them all, right? So if we have 100% uptime, that means that we have enough users right now of the 5,000 who can really participate full time. If we add a 4th market, we obviously fractionalize that liquidity, right? And when you have real money spent, these types of things are super important. So for us right now, we're going to keep it very simplified experience, pay more attention to who's the best traders, reward them on the leaderboard, kind of do this play money competition experience. But then once we have access to liquidity, real money, institutional relationships, we'll push out and start to list many more tokens as well.
Awesome. Ryan, just before I let you go, because I know you're super busy at the moment. Here's a question, Red, and this person is asking, how long will testnet last?
Yeah, so I mentioned on last week's call, and I'm happy to continue to verbalize this. The only limiting factor, obviously, is one, reliability, right? We want to make sure that has at least enough user testing, enough of a beta for us to be solid with obviously moving to real money payments. There's a bunch of things that change as soon as you start doing real revenue, right? Everything needs to be audited, everything needs to be on chain, everything needs to be very clear, right? Now, the time frame for that is really up to us. We are working extremely hard every single day internally to try to get that bridge built, try to make sure that we can get prep for mainnet, that there's no blockers, that we know what it means for us to get to that point. These weekly competitions on the beta are basically the stopgap solution to get us to the mainnet, right? So every single week, you'll know if that weekly competition is set up, or if you've heard about the following week's competition, you have at least 2 weeks lead time before we're going to go to mainnet, right? And obviously we're going to push that marketing initiative and really try to make some noise outside of our current community and see if we can get some escape velocity. Now, that being said, leading up to that period, I can pretty confidently say we're going to have at least, let's say, 3 weeks of competitions. And from that point, we'll probably start to transition into these pay to enter competitions, because I think we can get much higher prize pools than what the company can just subsidize, blank. Let's say we 5,000 USD down for a week, right? And we say, if we can generate 5,000 USD, then the prize pool is free for everybody, right? It's a fully competition. And if we only get 3,000, then we know we subsidize 2,000, right? So I have a ton of experience building out these kind of elasticity models. How much is the community kind of able and interested in entering into? What types of prize pools can we create? But with this a number of users, I really think we can generate some very exciting prize pools. If people put $10 in a week, for example, with 5,000 people, we could have a $50,000 prize pool in just 1 week. Or the top person might make 10 grand, right? So there is a lot of really, really exciting opportunities once you start to think about those competitions like that. And I expect that could be a meaningful engagement loop leading into mainnet too.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ryan. I know you're super busy, so I'll let you drop, but you could always hop back on if you have some time on your hands. And so I'll take it from here. Thank you so much, Ryan. And
I really appreciate it. I know you're going solo. Thank you so much. And everybody who's played the app, thank you so much for the support so far. Things are looking really good. We're starting to stabilize, and I'm excited to give you guys a bunch more information later into this week.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thank you so much, Ryan. Guys. So much exciting updates from Ryan. Personally, I'm so pumped, and I've seen a couple of questions, about Miss Jules. So Miss Jules is, not available today, but hopefully she would be with us, on the community hour next week, and she has to attend to some personal things. So she's fine, and she'll definitely, be with us next week. So I'm running the show solo today. So I hope you have some fun and you guys don't get tired of listening to my boring voice. But so just to provide more context, right, how linear markets work. So I've seen a couple of questions around how much GMAC you get to receive at the start of the competition, right? So it's 100 GMAC at the start of the competition, and then you get to receive 10 GMAC when you as sort of like a daily bonus when you log in and you play the markets, right? So these competitions are basically going to run in fixed cycles, right? Which are basically going to be weekly cycles at the moment. And then, like Ryan mentioned, right? So there's still some updates regarding the streak leaderboard, right? And we're going to still hear more about that from Ryan. But the G-Mike leaderboard is live at the moment, and USDC prizes would go live, at a later date, but hopefully a couple of days from now, right? You'll be able to earn USDC prizes for your predictions. Javier says Josiah loan bet today. Well, yeah. Yeah, and then you see end portal point. So one thing, Ryan has mentioned, and I would always have to, emphasize as well throughout the course of the call is, portal points, and portal points are, pretty important. And the best way to get those portal points is playing linear markets, right? Get your predictions up, try it out. And I think, it's sort of like a test net. It is a test net at the moment. And this is kind of the best time for you to sort of, fine tune your strategy. I'm still trying to find the strategy, that would, make it fun for me and profitable as well. So yeah. We have a prediction round explainer by Gunpart, and so I hope I do a good job at explaining this. But so I've seen a couple of questions, right, regarding how it works. Because so for instance, if this is your first time you're going on to linear markets, one of the first things you would see is, you would see the chart moving within a time frame, right? And you might be wondering, oh, if I place a prediction at that time, say it's like a 1 minute or it's like a 5 minute market, if I place my prediction within that time, would that count? But how it works is basically you're predicting against the next round or against the next market, right? So what happens, and in fact, the main reason for that is to enable to protect users and people using linear markets. Because say you're going to predict within that particular market, right, that could possibly get botted, right? And because you're definitely going to see, oh, this market is not resolving higher, it's clearly going to resolve lower, and then you could get edged out because so many people or bots and all of that could possibly make their predictions at that time. So this is kind of like a way for you to sort of, like Ryan always says, say you're about to predict on a horse race, right? You don't predict while the horses are racing, right? So you predict before the race. So you're predicting ahead of the next market, right? Which is basically the opening price of that market, or you could say the closing price of the previous market, right? So you're going to predict if it's going to end higher or if it's going to end lower. And when that market resolves, then you get to, see if you made the right prediction, if you ended up higher, if you ended up lower. So I hope I did a good job, right, explaining that. Yeah, thank you so much, Made of Black. Yeah, so amazing explainer by Gunpad. And yeah, guys, so that's kind of like the high level description of how it works playing linear markets if you're new. And yeah, I hope you guys have fun. I've been having a lot of fun, right? Although I'm not going to share my GMAC balance because but I'm definitely having a lot of fun, and it's been fun so far. Yeah, guys. So back to our regular community updates. The community advisor roles are definitely still much active, right? Even though right now the focus is on linear markets, right? You could still get to earn your community advisor role, and the roles that make up community advisors still remain your regional mods, newbie navigators, the ambassadors, artisans, meme lords, and game lords, right? And yeah, so we've been seeing so much. And first of all, I need to do a big shout out to the advisors right now. You guys have been super supportive prior to the launch of linear markets, and even with the launch of linear markets, right? So shout out to you guys, and thank you for your continuous support, right? And Jebin Rad says, I guess your GMAC balance is 11. Well, yeah. No comments on that, Jebin Raj. And Made of Black says, how can I apply to host games in the regional Discord? Yeah, so you could just, maybe reach out to me. No, you could tag me in Discord, right? But just for high level information, you definitely can host regional games in your region. However, so the number of regional games per region is capped at 10, right? Just to ensure fairness, and it's fair for all the regions, right? So it's capped at 10. And if your region doesn't have up to that, you could definitely, volunteer to help host these games. And even if there is, it's up to 10, it could still be something that could be shuffled among people that are very much willing to host games. So definitely, let me know your region. Let me know, what your plan is for hosting the regional games, and we would coordinate that in Discord. And you also get to receive XPs for hosting, right? As well as the XPs that people that join the game get to receive. Yeah, and I see a couple of people laughing at my 11 Gmail balance, but we're not going to talk about that today. Yeah, guys. Oh my God, a lot to go through, a lot to go through. So I'll be pretty fast right now. Shout out to Pine Network for winning the poker tournament last week. Shout out to you and Ungo Sin for ending up on the 11th place leaderboard, or just 11th place Josiah board. Right. Regarding the meme load leaderboard, Miss Jules will provide more updates on that when she's back, but I believe there isn't so much, more changes, I would imagine. Yeah, going forward again, shout out to our new ambassadors, Pro Beer, who is our recent newbie navigator. Like I mentioned, you could still earn your community advisor roles, right? So continue supporting, continue getting the word of linear markets out there, and keep supporting the way that you know how to. Shout out to Vertex as well for being an artisan. Thank you for supporting with so much amazing art. OX Empire, shout out to you as well. Thank you for your support. Thank you for creating amazing content on X. And shout out to you and congratulations on becoming an ambassador, in turn a community advisor. Regional games, guys, same old process, right? Like I mentioned earlier, you can volunteer to host regional games in your region, and you also get to receive XPs. I should probably add 500 XPs for the host, right? Which I would probably get that. I would add that in for subsequent calls. Yeah, so you get to receive 500 XPs for hosting the games, and you could also enable members of your region to earn XPs for joining the regional games. Um, Quick question from Made of Black again. Does support in only regional Discord count towards these roles? No, right? So, you could also support in the main chat. And I would even believe, main chat is sort of a place where you could drive so much more support because there are a lot more new people and newbies, that you could help guide and help provide more information to, right? But definitely it's not just restricted to the regional chats. And in fact, becoming an advisor isn't just solely restricted to Discord, right? Ambassadors are people that also create amazing content on X, right? So it's not solely, it's not just the newbie navigator. There's also the game lord role, right, where you get to end the role by winning games, global games 3 times, right? And yeah, so it's not just solely sort of like a quote unquote a Discord Discord thing, right? For those people that would love to contribute other ways aside Discord. Poker tournament, right? Again, we're having poker tournament this week. I think we're gonna have one of the game of microchains back next week. Fingers crossed on that. But poker is back this week, and yeah, guys. Same time. Same amount of XPs that you get to receive. And if there's any restructuring with regards to the games, we would definitely communicate that to everyone in the community. But same time, poker tournament. And what's going to happen is, I would schedule the tournament and I would send the link to it today, right? So people have a lot of time to register for the tournament. Yeah, guys. So one of our rituals on the call is we give out 1,000 XP for people that get to answer a particular question. And today's question is, I would say, it's pretty easy. Right. So let me see if I can cue the drum roll. I have to multitask today, but okay, so the next slide, I'll read the question and whoever answers first gets to receive 1,000 XPs. How much bonus portal points do the top 1% receive after every competition on linear markets? I'll repeat, how much bonus portal points do the top 1% receive after every competition on linear markets? Ooh. Oh yeah, I think I think we have an answer. I think we have an answer. Jebin Raj is the first person, but I think I'm feeling a little generous today. Miss Jules is not here, so I'm feeling a little generous today, and I think I'll give out XPs for the first two responses, right? So Jebin Raj, I think I already know your Discord username, but Charlito, please, if this is not your Discord username, please drop your Discord username in the chat. I'll make sure to give you 1,000 XPs. Maybe not on the call, but once we end the call, I'll try to give out your XP as fast as possible. So guys, so much amazing content to go through. I'll try to be as fast as I can. Shout out to all our creators, making different kinds of content. Thank you so much. And yeah, to become a creator, creators are people that just basically make content for Linera and help spread the word about Linera. And this week's challenge was a different tempo, right? So there are many points to differentiate between linear markets and standard prediction markets elsewhere. With linear markets, you get settlement in minutes, which is, not popular right now. You have fast-paced resolution, you have a high frequency experience. So it's kind of a different tempo when you get to use linear markets. And I'm sure everyone has started to really experience the different tempo with linear markets. So yeah, so this week's theme content challenge was around that different tempo. And yeah, so shout out to our artisans that helped review the art: Anton, Bademan, FOM, Glacha, Kuro, Mercury, Misha, and Romusha. Yeah, so this is by Alex, Kolinko Alex. Okay, it's a video. And guys, please let me know if you get this. Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. Please let me know if you got to hear the sound. So I'm sure I'm not listening to the sound alone. Yeah, so thank you, Alex. Nico, an ambassador, high energy illustration of linear markets. Ooh, agentic, agentic m0x, red, sort of depicting the high intensity and the different tempo that you get with linear markets. And I'm super excited personally because of the fact that, based on what Ryan said, right, there's a possibility to have a lot more markets, on Linera, which is going to be super exciting. So yeah, okay. Thank you guys for confirming that you get to hear the audio. Market strategy. This is by Karasik. Lovely art, lovely art. Thank you. Kingsman. Great art. Ooh, so much. I can see m0x skipping while placing his predictions. Right. It's just a reminder for me to, take my fitness serious once again. But yeah, thank you so much for the amazing art, sort of capturing, the different tempo linear market offers. Akeos, funny art, m0x in Deadpool style. Yeah. ZTDP, whose art we did use for the banner, for the thumbnail this week. Sahil as well. Amazing art, you guys. Thank you guys for creating. And it's so cool to see m0x m0x defeating I think that's a cheetah and a horse. Right. So cool. That's the different tempo that you get when you use linear market. Next up, Parsifal, Ustad or Ustad, right? Linear High and Fast, Sanjeev Das, amazing arts, amazing arts. Ooh. And also, guys, it's also very, very, like, I kind of enjoy it when you guys make amazing arts that sort of just capture, which is sort of like an infographic that sort of captures, all the key details that people need to see, right? So I think this from Sanjeev Das does that, right? So there's m0x, which is definitely going to grow into this, very important character in the entire linear ecosystem. And Ryan is working with Nick with regarding that, and I'm sure Ryan will be able to provide more details as we continue, like as we go forward in the coming weeks. But yeah, thank you, Sanjeev Das, because that sort of just captures some of the key information. And also thank you as well, Parsifal and Ustad. Oh, this from DC, who is a newbie navigator. Shout out to you, DC. Oh, I really like I don't know if I would say, yeah, the comic style. This is so cool, DC. This is actually so cool. Oh my God. Yeah. Shout out to you, DC. Shout out to you, DC. I really like it. Keep up with the amazing art. And thank you for also capturing a lot of like the key details, right? In like the comic style art. Definitely a big fan. Definitely a big fan. Yeah, so also by Vine and Jebin Raj. Shout out to Jebin Raj and our newbie navigator. And I'm sure Jebin Raj is in the chat as well, right? I've seen his comments. Thank you so much. And I like the fact that people are getting creative, or you guys are getting creative using m0x, right? And how m0x has grown to sort of be sort of like a key figure in our arts, key figure in social posts. And he's that guy that is just there to point you to like the right information and things like that. And the interesting part is which I believe is part of, Ryan's plan and the plan of the team regarding m0x, is for m0x to also grow into becoming that character, you know, beyond just the arts and all of that, right? So it's nice to already see m0x sort of growing into that as well. High impact design showing market speed, absolutely. A different tempo as well by Ika. Music driven visualization by that review was from Anton. Anav and Mailafia, amazing art. Just to quickly read what Anav added: a different tempo, settle in minutes plus high frequency prediction market, higher or lower. And so the funny thing is, it's just, so guys, permit me to sort of go on a bit of a detour, right? But it's always just interesting to me how, you know, at the core of all of this, right, it's always back to the basics, right? It's always back to like the very basics of how prediction markets should even function, right? Where you have you just predicting on higher or lower, right? So instead of, complicating things and having people do a lot of all these crazy things with Linera, it's, you have to get the basics right first, and then you can possibly expand upon that. So, and it's not just offering the basics first, it's offering it in a completely different way. And like Ryan mentioned, right, Linera sort of has the infrastructure, in fact, a well built out infrastructure that was built by the team, to sort of carry this vision, right? And, Linera is not dependent on another blockchain to sort of, resolve those transactions and things like that. So super, super, super exciting times. And thank you guys for sort of capturing that in, the amazing art that you make. This is by Bakka CCC. Ololo, who is an ambassador, great visual of instant settlement. Also from Anton, amazing art, guys. This is Linear Market by Nina. Ooh, Nina makes amazing art consistently. And shout out to Nina, who has been one of our, earliest ambassadors, always supportive and always making amazing art. Real-time finality, microchain architecture, app-level scalability, full stack design. And that is what you get with Linear Market. Yeah, amazing. m0x art by Blue, Swansea, Vandy, Annie Touch, and Sharon and Dosunet. Shout out to you guys. This seems to be hand drawn. Oh, it's nice to see. It's nice to see the nice hand drawn art as well. Shout out to you guys. Nice to see m0x as well, chilling underwater in bikini bottom, which is so cool. Krusty Krab. I really like that, and it seems that m0x is counting a lot of money, which is cool. Amazing Koala piece, amazing artwork of m0x. Playing his guitar. At this point, I don't even know what m0x cannot do, but amazing arts Koala piece. m0x celebrates Women's Day. This is so cool, and happy International Women's Day as well. I know it's a couple days past that, but yeah. Shout out to you guys, Aliska, Vertex, who is the new artisan, Cybermoon, Ganparts, who made the visual explainer on how linear market works. Shout out to you guys, and thank you for making such amazing art. By Hamion, Totosha, Alishka, Ohim, Kokosik. Ooh, cool, so cool. Amazing art, guys, and nice to see the red PP. I believe that's the red PP back. Right, amazing work, guys. Novelties, top 4 picks. So I believe we're probably going to have like videos in our novelties, but yeah, Jeremy Raj, next level creativity. And I really have to shout out like every member of the Linear community, because I think you guys are so creative, right, in the amount of art or the kind of art that you make, and the quality of the content, and on not just visual content, but also written content as well. Shout out to you guys. Jupiter, I hope we're able to load. Amazing. Thank you so much, Jupiter. This is from entire awesome portfolio of content contributions. Yeah, absolutely stunning visuals. Oh, this is a minute long. Let's see. Amazing. Oh my God, that's so cool. That's so cool, entire. I definitely love that. And I like the fact that you remembered some of our, key events. And that just made me remember the talent show that we had at the end of last year, which was super cool. I don't know if some of the guys from the talent show are here, but that was definitely super cool. And maybe we might have something like that going forward. But yeah, thank you so much for capturing all of that entire. This is from Gretchex, yeah. Um, oh,
The goal
wow.
is to steal the
4 minutes long.
microchains. This is what will help us. This is M0X.
Oh my God, I think that's Matthew.
Found it. We're on schedule. Locked. Unknown structure detected. Control, it's not dead.
Wow.
They're pulling us in. Engine's dead! Then we do it the hard way.
I see chain nodes. It's a control network.
Wow.
Memorize the route. We need core access.
I think that's Matthew, m0x.
Welcome to the orbital cradle of the end.
You're hiding behind machines.
I'm hiding behind inevitability.
What does
Microchain
that
will
look like
close
to
the
Johnny's
gravity circuit. The planet
profile picture?
folds. You're insane! I'm the engineer of fate.
What the? That's their beacon. Initiate M0X protocol. All options.
Last breath before reprogramming. Danny, now.
Wow.
No, that's mine! No! Not your toy anymore.
I did my part. The rest is on you.
Oh,
You saved us. Thank you.
wow, that's so cool. That's so cool. That's so cool. Thank you, Grechesk. Bavan. Yeah, our last novelty for today before we dive into the games. That's funny. I mean, that's definitely funny. I don't know if that says anything about Lidera, but that's definitely funny. And I wish I could dance like that. Yeah, guys, meme challenge. So, I'll be walking us through the meme challenge for this week. It's a different tempo. Shout out to the meme lords, Berawan, Illuminat Milos, D911, Johnny Calconi, Mad Shader, Bula BTC, and Kaniels for helping sort of review the memes for this week. So, oh my God, that was so funny. That last video was so funny. This is by Lim. Hi, Lo. I just went all in on Lidera Market to pray for my G mic. Oh my God. This was definitely me at the initial phases when the rest, the community advisors had to test linear market, right? And let's just say, I lost a chunk of my G mic, but that's so cool. Lame. You guys should rate, drop your ratings in the chat, and I'll definitely rate this say a 7. Right? That's so cool. This is by ZTDP1. Oh my God. That was funny. That was funny. Oh my God. That's definitely I would say that's like an 8, right? It's a different tempo when it's linear, right? So it's not what you see everywhere, and it's not what you see around. It's a different tempo. By Anton, please tell me, is the settlement complete? Linear settled. Settlement already happened minutes ago. Yeah, already using the high frequency strategy now. She replies, "You mean I am already FOMOing? I can't trade at the speed this temp at I can't trade at that speed. This tempo is way too fast." Yeah, I mean, initially, Red, and I think one of the cool things I need to also mention, Red, well, as we're ending the community hour, is the fact that for the fact that you're playing 1 minute markets, which resolves very fast, is so addictive and it's so cool that, like, and it resolves fast, and then you also want to try the market again. You also want to try the market again. So yeah, definitely, it's a different tempo, and we don't wait for settlements, right? Because settlement happens almost instantly, right? As the market resolves from 1 minute, 3 minutes, and 5 minutes. So that's definitely cool, Anton. This is from OX Cyan. When they try to join you, but your microchain is settling in minutes. I can see your fully market a Kaushi logo here. They can't even match your tempo. Yeah, you definitely cannot match linear market's tempo. And like I always say, like it's so cool that linear doesn't just provide you with the prediction market. Linear has built out the entire blockchain infrastructure. An entire layer one that powers what we have, right? So trust me, it's been months of work and possibly years of work as well with an experienced team. So yes, definitely, you can't match. You definitely cannot match Linear's tempo, and we're coming. We're definitely coming. This is also by OX Cyan. Um, see, it's taking some. Okay, cool.
Let it ride.
Oh my god! Let me watch that one more time.
Let it ride.
Oh my god! Yeah, that's so cool. OX Cyan. That's definitely cool. That's like an 8.5 for me. I would say. Awesome. Koja is first. A different tempo. Yeah, I mean that's definitely how I felt trying out trying out the different markets, like the 1 minute, the 3 minutes, the 5 minutes, and and you try the 1 minute markets, and you go to the 5 minutes, and it feels equally exciting. You go to the 3 minutes, and it feels equally exciting. While I'm trying to still find my perfect strategy that doesn't make me end up with 11 G mic, like Jeben Raj said. But yeah, Jeben Raj, don't worry. Next community, I'm definitely going to have more than 11 GMAT. But thank you so much for that amazing meme, Koja. It first. This is by Lean. The feeling of anticipation to participate in linear prediction markets. This was definitely me, like say 2 nights ago, right? But yeah, right now we've tried it out and I can't stop playing linear markets. So amazing meme by runners. When someone tries to explain standard prediction markets, I live my life in fast-paced linear minutes. Yeah, fast-paced minutes. Definitely fast-paced minutes on linear. Amazing meme runners. This is by Akeos or Legark. Waiting months for prediction markets to resolve. Linear market settles in minutes. Linear has a different tempo, that's for sure. Right. Linear definitely has a different tempo. And like I mentioned earlier, right, it's like I said, you're predicting ahead of the next minute, right? So you get your predictions in, it's locked in, and the market, you just watch the market resolve, and and there's also this very cool pop-up, right, which tells you, oh, you've won this amount of JMAG, or you possibly need to try again to win more JMAG. So super, super cool. By Jebin Raj, other prediction markets users waiting 5-15 minutes for results. Meanwhile, users at linear markets every single minute. Yeah, we don't wait for markets to, we don't wait for so long, right? They resolve almost instantly. The 911 standard prediction market, linear market, a different tempo seeker. absolutely spot on. If you need a different tempo, and if you want to try a prediction market in a way that you haven't tried them out before, definitely Lunera is the place to be for sure. Yeah, thank you guys for the amazing memes. With regards to our content challenge, so next week content is, or the content for the upcoming week is Agentic m0x, right? So Linera's mascot m0x is set to become Agentic, engaging with users on X, supporting tournaments, leaderboard analysis, prize and point and prize distributions, creates art or meme content that anticipates the help and Agentic m0x might bring users. So, like I mentioned earlier in the call, m0x is sort of going to grow into this sort of agentic, companion, an agentic buddy on Linera, right? Which is going to be super fun. But thank you so much, guys, for sticking around. I think I need to just quickly recap on some important updates, right? So the first things first, Linera Market is live. Try out the market if you haven't. It's been fun. Over 5,000 people have pushed their history to the leaderboard. And I need to also mention that you need to sort of upload your trades to the leaderboard so that you can get them added to the leaderboard. That is also an important bit. Make sure that you're using the same means of the same means you used to log in on the portal with Linera Markets, right? Just to make sure that both identities are the same. So very soon USDC prices are going to be live for tournaments. Right now you get in 1,000 portal points if you end up in some of the top positions. So super exciting. Try out Linera Markets, make amazing content about Linera Market, tell your friends about Linera Market, and I'll see you guys next week on the community hour. Till then, good night.
Thank me later.